Manifesto of the Communist Party, written by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, narrated by Christian Adler. Preface. The manifesto was published as the platform of the Communist League, a working men's association. First, exclusively German, later an international, and under the political conditions of the continent before 1848, unavoidably a secret society. At a Congress of the League, held in London in November 1847, Marx and Engels were commissioned to prepare for publication a complete theoretical and practical party program. Drawn up in German in January 1848, the manuscript was sent to the printer in London a few weeks before the French Revolution of February 24th. A French translation was brought out in Paris shortly before the insurrection of June 1848. The first English translation, by Miss Helen Macfarlane, appeared in George Julian Harney's Red Republican, London, 1850. A Danish and a Polish edition had also been published. The defeat of the Parisian insurrection of June 1848, the first great battle between proletariat and bourgeoisie, drove again into the background for a time the social and political aspirations of the European working class. Thenceforth, the struggle for supremacy was again, as it had been before the Revolution of February, solely between different sections of the propertied class. The working class was reduced to a fight for political elbow room, and to the position of the extreme wing of the middle-class radicals. Wherever independent proletarian movements continued to show signs of life, they were ruthlessly hunted down. Thus, the Prussian police hunted out the Central Board of the Communist League, then located in Cologne. The members were arrested, and after 18 months' imprisonment, they were tried in October 1852. This celebrated Cologne Communist trial lasted from October 4th till November 12th. 7 of the prisoners were sentenced to terms of imprisonment in a fortress, varying from 3 to 6 years. Immediately after the sentence, the League was formally dissolved by the remaining members. As to the manifesto, it seemed thenceforth to be doomed to oblivion. When the European working class had recovered sufficient strength for another attack on the ruling classes, the International Working Men's Association sprang up. But this association, formed with the express aim of welding into one body the whole of the militant proletariat of Europe and America, could not at once proclaim the principles laid down in the manifesto. The International was bound to have a program broad enough to be acceptable to the English trades unions, to the followers of the Proudhon in France, Belgium, Italy, and Spain, and to the Lassalleans in Germany. Marx, who drew up this program to the satisfaction of all parties, entirely trusted to the intellectual development of the working class, which was sure to result from combined action and mutual discussion. The very events and vicissitudes of the struggle against capital, the defeats even more than the victories, could not help bringing home to men's minds the insufficiency of their various favorite nostrums, and preparing the way for a more complete insight into the true conditions of working-class emancipation. And Marx was right. The International, on its breaking up in 1874, left the workers quite different men from what it had found them in 1864. Proudhonism in France, Lassalleanism in Germany were dying out, and even the conservative English trades unions, though most of them had long since severed their connection with the International, were gradually advancing towards that point at which, last year at Swansea, the president could say in their name, "Continental socialism has lost its terrors for us." In fact, the principles of the manifesto had made considerable headway among the working men of all countries. The manifesto itself thus came to the front again. The German text had been, since 1850, reprinted several times in Switzerland, England, and America. In 1872, it was translated into English in New York, where the translation was published in Woodhull and Claflin's Weekly. From this English version, a French one was made in Les Socialistes of New York. Since then, at least 2 more English translations, more or less mutilated,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?